Hello everybody, and once again here we are at MTG Bulk Mythic, opening up the Strixhaven School of Mages bundle. This is the little box that you get. It's got 10 draft booster packs in it. It also has a bunch of lands as well as a 20-sided die, right? Or at least it still says so. And we're going to check out this oversized die. Remember in the Kaldheim bundle, they had this over-stylized version here, and let's see what they did with the Strixhaven one. I'm really excited to see these. I don't know if I'm the only one who nerds out about dice, you know, what kind of different designs they have. But we'll go ahead and slide this out. Here's the pencil box. Here's the anti-theft card. We'll go ahead and get that out of here. Now, I picked this up as I always try to do at my local game store. There's a few in my area, so I like to spread the love. And this one I picked up at Brute Force Games in downtown. And we'll go ahead real quick, slide out this little insert. We've got the Declare Your College describing the philosophies of each of the colleges, and then you have the little art card of the campus there. Pretty cool. And then we'll go ahead, and as I've demonstrated before on the channel, we find the seam here, and you can peel it apart because it has that kind of gummy glue on it. There we go. And see what we have inside of this sleeve. Pop it open here, and would you look at that? So little poster style pieces of art for each of the colleges. Pretty cool. I'll go ahead and add that to the collection. But looking at this box, we're going to get into the inside of it. This looks amazing. The style, I really do like this color, the patterning on it. And then of course you have the 5 colleges across the top. Pop this off. Super sturdy box as always. And inside we have our 10 draft boosters. As I said before, we have our land packs, including the foil land pack that has the foil rare and a couple of tip cards. And then here is the die. So look at this. It's gold, almost like a copper or an ore colored, which is pretty nice. It's a coloration that I haven't seen in any of the dice that Wizards has had made yet. The Strixhaven Owl is the number 20 on it. Spin down. It looks really nice. I like that a lot. So putting it side by side against the oversized here with the extra stylization. Now, I would have probably gone with maybe some kind of etching too, but this color being a very unique color to these dice is pretty cool. But we'll move on from there, get the box out of the way, and start talking about the actual cards that's in here. So starting off with the land packs, we have the one normal land pack. And in Strixhaven, because of the dual lands for each of the colleges, the draft booster packs don't have very many or any at all basic lands. So these basic lands, their collector numbers are above the collector numbers of the full set, but when you look at them, there is an art for each of the colleges that use that color of mana. So in this instance here, this is Lorehold, and then over here we have let's see, what's the other one for white? We got white and red, which is Lorehold, and then you have white and black. Yes, black for the Silver Quill. So here is the Oratorium for Silver Quill, and here are the archaeological fields for the Lorehold ones, and the others are very similar in that. So it's kind of cool that they do have those land pairs. If you're interested in building those decks, you can get land art specific to the college that you're building, and then you have, of course, the foil versions of each of those in this pack here, along with the guaranteed foil rare, and in this one it's Archmage Emeritus, and this is going to be the same card in each of the bundles, and it's an alternate art than the normal one. But looking at this one, this is a little interesting. I don't know how well it picks up on the camera, but it looks like there's a printer error, a smudge across the top corner here, and it actually is covering up the mana cost, and there's lettering in there. It looks a lot like the lettering that's would be down here marking the actual card itself. So that's very interesting. Print error right there on that one. And then we have the lands. And here, this planes right now, I can tell it has some extra toner on it. It was what looks like some black specks covering the whole card. So this is definitely a print error. These are not the best quality of the foil lands. Either the printing equipment got dirty. You see these black flecks here. I don't know if you can on the camera or not. These black flecks on all of the cards. It looks like something, and you can feel them. It textures the cards. So that's a little disappointing. You get the foil lands, and it's supposed to be part of the value of the box, and you end up with some not so great quality cards. But hopefully these booster packs are a little bit better off. Now, normally I would pull 6 of these to the side to put in my Chaos box, but at one of the local game stores I pre-ordered the pre-release packs from, due to the lack of in-store play, they included extra booster packs with those pre-release packs. So I already have some for the box. So we're going to open all 10 of these here today, and without further ado, let's get into that. So looking real quick at them, I don't know how much you've been playing, but I actually just got done playing the Strixhaven Draft Challenge on Arena today. I'd been hoarding gold, looking forward to Jumpstart coming back to it, and then this Draft Challenge came up, and I couldn't pass up the prize support. You know, knowing that I had the opportunity to get draft tokens from winning these, and I could turn, if I could get multiple draft tokens and turn those into gems, that was a big deal. But Dragon Guard Elite was actually one of the cards I drafted. I drafted Witherbloom, and I had some of the Quandrix Pledge Mages. I had a lot of +1/+1 counter action going on, and I went 3 and 2. I had some pretty bad draws in my 4th and 5th matches, but nothing I can complain about too much. It was a lot of fun, and I ended up coming out with 2 player draft tokens and 6 booster packs. So that technically is profit. Those 6 booster packs are profit. Those 2 player draft tokens recuperate me the gold that I spent on it, and I'll get to play 2 more drafts. So I have that and the additional cards that I drafted. So it was a lot of fun. It was good to play against something other than the bots, because if you know me, I usually spend my gold on the bots. And here's another Dragon's Guard Elite. Very interesting that we have 2 rares in a row that are the same, but we also end up with a rare Mystical Archive card in Weather the Storm. 1 in a green, gain 3 life, and Storm. So, you know, it was a good event, and look forward to drafting a couple more times, building up my gem count, so when Jumpstart comes back to Arena, I can play that as well. I know the community's been in a little bit up in arms due to some announcements about the Premier Play with the pro players. In my opinion, I think kind of pulling it back a little bit, not doing so much for so few players, is actually going to be good for the game. I'm looking forward, as it becomes safer, to have larger gatherings, to going back to GPs again. So here's another Fury Claim Snarl. I'm really looking forward to collecting a lot of these Snarls. I do believe that they are going to be highly playable in Standard and a lot of other formats, Modern and things like that. The Snarls and the rare dual lands from the previous set. Now this printer, looking at these cards here, the non-foils, they look like they've been, you know, dragged almost. They're a little washed out. So maybe the printer that made these was not having a good time with it. Hopefully, I'll have to check and see if there's something as far as like an identifier to maybe even reach back to Wizards of the Coast and let them know that these were not the best quality as far as at least the printing of them. The cardstock feels really good, but like here we have some really bad centering issues. This card is very, very high. in the centering, in the vertical centering of it. We have Culmination of Studies here, and then we have a Tezzeret's Gambit. And this is another card I got to draft today. So I was running a Witherbloom deck with Tezzeret's Gambit because I could pay the 2 life and draw 2 cards and proliferate. With all the +1/+1 counters I had rolling around, this was a very powerful card. I was more than happy to spend the 2 life to draw those cards and add +1/+1 counters to my Pledge Mages and to my Dragon's Guard Elite. So, along with a couple of Mages Onslaughts that I had, and a couple of the Professor's Protection, I was doing pretty well. Even had a Snakeskin Veil, and was not unhappy at all with how I was doing. I also played Dina the Soul Steeper and a Witherbloom Apprentice. So a lot of it came together when the deck drew well. It ran well, and I was really happy about that. Had a lot of fun with it. And then there were just a couple of times where I ended up I flooded out pretty hard in one match, and another one I couldn't stick a creature to the board long enough to keep it protected. So that was just kind of unfortunate. Here's a Retriever Phoenix and Defiant Strike and a foil Callous Blood Mage. Look at that. Vampire Warlock 2/1 for 3. It's 2 and a black. And then when it enters the battlefield, you can either create a pest token or draw a card and lose a life. And then there's the third choice of exile a target player's graveyard. So pretty awesome foil there. The foil doesn't look too bad. Maybe because the color's washed out a little bit, it looks a little bit brighter with the foiling. I don't know if that's necessarily the same across the board for that specific card's foil process. But let's see what else we have going on here. Here's a Poet's Quill, Artifact Equipment, and a Lightning Helix. My second Lightning Helix, I believe, out of these Mystical Archive cards. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know. I've been looking at building a red-white burn deck for Modern because my Abzan combo deck with Collected Company and Viscera Seers and Maliras and all that kind of fun stuff. It's a little aged for the format, to tell you the truth, over lack of better terms. And here we get an extra rare in this pack in our lessons slot. Teachings, unless these are just out of order. Nope. I did get an extra rare. So we have Teachings of the Archaics in our lessons slot. That's a really good card. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards. Draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least 4 more cards in hand than you. So it's a catch up on card advantage kind of card. Good take on Divination there for 3 mana. Get our uncommons out of the way, and then we have a double face for our rare, the Dean of Perfection with the Dean of Expression on the backside for the College of Prismari. And then Thrill of Possibilities in the Mystical Archive slot. So a lot of really good cards in this pack. You know, for a $40 bundle, not a bad showing so far. You know, I'm pretty excited about having another Snarl, trying to collect as many of those as I can, getting the rares and mythics that we've gotten, including these, you know, Lightning Helix and some of these other Mystical Archive cards. I think they add a lot to the set, but here we go. The show has not stopped yet. Here is a full art Kasmina Enigma stage. Mythic rare. Legendary Planeswalker, 1 blue and a green, and it has the text, each other Planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kasmina Enigma stage. So that's +2 scry 1, -X, create a 0/0 fractal creature token with X +1/+1 counters on it, and -8 to search your library for an instant or sorcery card that shares a color with this Planeswalker. Exile that card and shuffle your library, and you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So the reason why they had to go with this Planeswalker is if you have another Planeswalker in play that's not blue and green, then you can use the -8 on that Planeswalker to find an instant or sorcery matching that Planeswalker's colors. Otherwise, every other Planeswalker you had could only search for a blue or a green spell. So, very interesting. It's like the reverse Nico Bolas there, and that full extended art is pretty awesome too with Casmina on there. So I don't know if I've mentioned it before on the channel, but I've been thinking about it a lot, looking at the planeswalkers and things like that. It almost feels like a passing of the guard. You know, the Gatewatch has been disbanded. A lot of those planeswalkers have been in Magic sets for decades. And now we've got Casmina, we've got the twins, Will and Rowan, we've got Kaya. We've got a lot of younger, or newer rather, planeswalkers, and it really feels like a passing of torch is occurring right now, especially since this is a college set, and having Professor Onyx, aka Liliana, at the school teaching Will and Rowan, it really feels like a passing of the torch, that a lot of these planeswalkers, they're going to become the main characters, and the original planeswalkers from previous sets are going to take a little bit more of a backseat to these new characters, which I think is interesting for the story aspect of it. I'm actually kind of looking forward to where it takes it. But here's another Tanazir Quandrix. I actually opened Tanazir in my pre-release pack when I played on the Spell Table event. And then I have Rare Ephemerate for the Mystical Archive. So that's the bundle right there. 10 booster packs for essentially what you would buy 10 loose boosters for, and you get the awesome, sturdy storage box, which I'm kind of glad I was actually able to open up, because the bulk from the other packs I've been opening is taking up a lot of space. I need to put them somewhere. And then you also get some of the other goodies like the die and stuff like that. So very, very good opening here. I got several mythics and a couple of rare Mystic Archive cards. Really happy about that. I honestly think Dragon's Guard Elite is going to do some things in Standard. Having the opportunity to throw another Lightning Helix in my building box, the Tezzret's Gambit, and making something of it. Even these alternate shocks might make it into that modern burn deck. So, really happy with the cards that I have here. Going to be making some trades as in-store play starts to open up and it's safe to gather, at least in small groups for the time being. And looking forward to actually shuffling cards and sitting across from an opponent and playing. So if you are also as excited as I am, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, or find us on Facebook to leave a comment and join the discussion there. Not to mention hitting that subscribe button so you see more of these videos in the future. And in the meantime, share with a friend so you know that we're out here sharing our hobby together.